Your network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Wednesday, July 7th, 2021, and we are live. Hope everybody's doing well today. Today's been a very hectic day. Was busy working on editing the video from last night's show. So we had a great show on Tuesday. So go back and check out that podcast. We talked about Sha'Carri Richardson not making the Olympics, the Olympic relay team being shut out altogether. We talked about Nikole Hannah-Jones and Ta-Nehisi Coates going to becoming faculty at Howard University. So we had a great show. We're going to continue the discussion today dealing with Nikole Hannah-Jones and Ta-Nehisi Coates, because I did not get finished with it yesterday. We spent so much time dealing with Sha'Carri Richardson. And we also talked about, also on Tuesday's show, we dealt with why marijuana is prohibited in the Olympics, why it's prohibited. We went through and a deep analysis of that. So check out Tuesday's show. On today's show, in addition to Nikole Hannah-Jones and Ta-Nehisi Coates, we're going to deal with this very disturbing story out of Haiti. Haitian President Jovenel Moise was assassinated early this morning. The First Lady was injured. She's getting medical attention now. And the latest report is that at least four people have been arrested, at least four suspects in the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moise have been arrested. Four suspects in Haiti assassination. I'm sorry, four suspects in Haiti assassination killed, two arrested after president's death. Okay, so we're going to look at some live updates from Washington Post and NBC News. I'm looking at updates right now from NBC News. I was looking at updates from Washington Post right before coming on the air. Today on Roland Martin Unfiltered, Roland interviewed the U.S. ambassador to he interviewed the Haitian ambassador to the U.S. Okay, so we're going to talk about, we're going to share an excerpt of that interview with you. And then also on the readout with Joanne Reed today, she dealt with some of the history of Haiti. Okay, she dealt with some of the history of Haiti. And she also spoke with Yamiche Alcindor, as well, journalist Yamiche Alcindor, to deal with what's going on in Haiti. So this is a deep history. We're going to talk some about the history of Haiti as well. I was looking at a piece from Reuters, from Al Jazeera. I was looking at a piece from Al Jazeera that has a timeline of history dealing with Haiti also. Okay, so we'll talk about that. And then the veteran actress and dancer, Suzzanne Douglas, probably best known for portraying the wife on the Parenthood, and she was also in the movie Tap with Gregory Hines. She was in Waiting to Exhale as well. She passed away on Tuesday. She passed away yesterday, age 64. So we'll talk some about Suzzanne Douglas as well. Jerry, she played Jerry on the Parenthood, the wife of Robert Townsend. So really good show. Really liked her. Brilliant sister, very beautiful sister. So she passed away as well. I first found out about that from Roland Martin. Roland posted about it on, I think I saw it first on his Instagram page. Okay. But we'll talk some about Suzzanne Douglas as well. Now, on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his or her actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. We're going to go to, we're going to jump into clip one here. Shakita, in just a second. This is from NBC Nightly News, and I want to look at some update here from NBC News in just a second here. 4 suspects in Haiti assassination killed, 2 arrested after president's death, police chief says. So we know Haiti has had a long history of corruption, interference from foreign governments, having to pay back the French government for defeating them in the Haitian Revolution, having to pay reparations to France, being invaded by the U.S. All types of things have happened to Haiti. But if we look at some of the latest news here, Haitian President Jovenel Moise was assassinated Wednesday in what was described as a coordinated attack. His wife was injured and is at a Miami hospital. Haiti's national police chief said Wednesday night that 4 suspects were killed and 2 others arrested following the early morning assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moise. Leon Charles, the director of Haiti's national police, also said that 3 police officers had been held hostage, but that police freed them. Now, Haiti's government has blamed mercenaries for the attack. President Moise was killed early Wednesday morning in what the country's acting prime minister, Claude Joseph, described as a quote, hateful, inhumane, and barbaric act. Okay, now, Prime Minister Claude Joseph said a group of highly trained and heavily armed people attacked President Moise's residence around 1 a.m., shooting the president and his wife. First Lady Martine Moise was flown to Florida and is receiving medical attention in Miami, Haiti's ambassador to the United States said. President Moise was 53 years old and took office in February 2017. He was attacked in his home in the suburb of the nation's capital, Port-au-Prince. Haiti, we know Haiti is the poorest country in the Americas. A lot of that has to do with European intervention. Okay. We're coming up on a break here. we're going to go to this clip here from NBC Nightly News. Let's go to clip 1, Shakita. Okay, take it off mute. Okay, while we get that queued up. Also, there are updates coming in from CNN, Washington Post, New York Times. Press play when we have it ready. We're going to go to I was looking at some of the updates from the Washington Post as well. Okay, do you have the clip? Take it off mute. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number. If you have a question or comment, 313-778.
The brazen attack unfolded overnight at the top.
Go ahead.
Private residence, Haitian President Jovenel Moise. The gunmen, speaking English and Spanish, reportedly yelled they were DEA agents. But the Haitian government says they were instead mercenaries, highly trained killers who shot dead the 53-year-old Moise and critically wounded his wife. Now in charge, the country's prime minister is calling for calm while declaring a state of emergency with the world watching.
We need a lot more information, but it's very worrisome about the state of Haiti.
In the last few months, Haiti has grown increasingly chaotic with spiraling gang violence and inflation. Protesters had accused Moise of becoming an authoritarian by trying to rewrite the country's constitution.
Did President Moise anticipate an assassination attempt?
Probably, because if you refer to a last statement, the last interview he gave in January, where he said that he knows that A lot of people want him to be killed because of his reforms, of his policies.
Haiti is the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere, and a catastrophic earthquake in 2010 left more than 200,000 people dead by some estimates. Tonight, the airport in Port-au-Prince is shut down. The Dominican Republic has closed its border with Haiti, and the U.S. Embassy there is telling its staff to shelter in place. Haiti's ambassador to the U.S. tells me that the country's first lady has just arrived in Miami for treatment, and that the UN here plans to hold a Security Council meeting on Haiti tomorrow, Kate.
Okay, that's from NBC Nightly News. And the Haitian ambassador to the U.S. is Bochit Edmond, okay? Haitian ambassador to the U.S. Now, we're coming up here on the break. We're going to continue this on the other side of the break. I want to go to the interview that Roland Martin did today as well, dealing with this. He spoke with Bochit Edmond, Haitian ambassador to the U.S., about what's going on in Haiti. Then we're also going to deal with a brief history lesson in some of the history of Haiti. We know that it was Columbus in 1492 who is going to conquer the territory of Hispaniola. And actually, it was either 1492 or 1494, but conquer the territory of Hispaniola. And Saint Dominique is going to become a French colony. And we know that they're going to have brutal slave plantations, these sugarcane plantations, in these colonies. And this is going to lead to the Haitian Revolution of the Haitian Revolution, which culminates with Haiti gaining their independence in 1804. All right. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation and Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world. Bringing our people together worldwide. Controlling our messages, our stories, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30 plus channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
Gain knowledge in minutes from insightful summaries of progressive and socially conscious books. Blacklisted gives you access to curated content that'll satisfy your curiosity to learn and understand different perspectives. Empower yourself through inspirational and actionable ideas. It's easy to read or listen to on the go. Blacklisted. Empower yourself. Start your free trial today.
910, the Superstation, Detroit's only African-American talk radio.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation of Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Wednesday, July 7th, 2021. We're live. Hope everybody's doing well. Right before the break, we were talking about the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moise that took place early Wednesday morning. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a quick question or comment. Want to remind you that the 10-week online course that I teach, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. This class just started up Sunday, July 4th. Class number 2 is Sunday, July 11th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and scroll down the home page. You'll see the information for our radio show. Scroll down, you'll see the information for the online course. Click on register here. It takes you to the next page. Click on enroll. And as soon as you register, you can start watching the course content. Okay. This is a 10-week online course that I teach. We do the class live. All the sessions are recorded. They're all archived. You'll still have access to the archive content even after the course is over with. We deal with thousands of years of history and what led up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. The class is regularly $130. It's on sale $80. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa. Kemet, one of the original names for Egypt. Maafa, Kiswahili term, which means the great disaster, our Holocaust. And we deal with thousands of years of history and what led up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. And we deal with rebellions, of course, slave rebellions, including the Haitian Revolution as well. We deal with that in the online course also. All right. I want to go back to right before the break, we were talking about what took place in Haiti. And I want to flip over. Let's do a quick history lesson. OK, we're going to go to clip. We're going to go to clip 3 next, Shakita. So cue that up for me, please. So a brief history lesson here dealing with Haiti. OK. And it was 1492. I had it correct the first time. 1492 Hispaniola. Al Jazeera has a really good timeline. I was doing research on content, covering the story and looking at different news sources, everything from Washington Post to CNN. And the first story I saw about this morning, I posted about it. If you follow us on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network, I saw the story from face-to-faceafrica.com. And that story was posted like about 6:30 a.m., something like that. OK, so that was the first story I saw about this. Then the other news outlets were coming out with reporting on this assassination as well. So I want to look at this piece here from Al Jazeera, and this deals with a timeline of history dealing with Haiti, so we could put all this into a historical context. Okay, so 1492 Spanish colonies, and I'm trying to pull up this article here from face-to-faceafrica.com. Okay. 1492 Spanish colonies. The Spain colonizes the island of Hispaniola after the arrival of Christopher Columbus. So this is Hispaniola becomes a Spanish colony. Okay. 200 years later, Spain cedes the western half of the Spanish colony of Hispaniola to France and becomes Saint Dominique. It becomes a French colony, the western half of it. Plantations worked by slaves of African origin produce sugar, rum, and coffee that enrich France. Sugar, rum, and coffee that enrich France. And this is, and it's important to understand and I deal with all this history in the online course that I teach, because this ties right into dealing with the transatlantic slave trade. Now, 1492 that's towards the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade, which starts basically in 1441 with the Portuguese going into Mauritania. But Europeans have been fighting the African Moors in Europe for hundreds of years. And 1492 is also the same year that the Moors relinquished the last stronghold in Spain, which is Grenada. January 2nd, 1492, Grenada. January 2nd, 1492. Boabdil relinquishes the last stronghold. Okay. And the Reconquista is complete. The Reconquista starts in 722 AD. And this is the effort of Spain to take back the territory that the Moors are occupying. So that's January 2nd, 1492. August 2nd, 1492, Spain is going to expel the Sephardim, the Sephardic Jews. August 3rd, 1492, Columbus is going to set sail on his first of 4 voyages. And October 12th of 1492, Columbus lands in the territory that we call the Bahamas. Okay. But this was on his first voyage. He went on 4 voyages. He had 4 voyages from 1492. His last voyage was in 1504. And in his on his first voyage, he's going to land in Hispaniola and conquer Hispaniola. Okay. And that western portion of Hispaniola is going to become Haiti. All right. So, okay, let's continue here. 1801, former slave Toussaint Louverture leads a successful revolt and abolishes slavery. 1804, Haiti becomes independent under former slave Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who was assassinated in 1806. In 1915, United States invades Haiti, withdrawing in 1943, but keeping financial control and political influence. 1937, in the worst incident of long-standing rivalry with neighboring Dominican Republic, thousands of Haitians in the border area are massacred by Dominican troops on the orders of dictator Trujillo. 1957, Francois Papa Doc Duvalier takes power with military backing, ushering in a period which sees widespread human rights abuses. 1964, Papa Doc Duvalier, Jean-Jacques Duvalier, Francois Duvalier, takes power with military backing, ushering in a period with which sees widespread human rights abuses. 1964, Francois Duvalier declares himself president for life. Okay, 1964, Francois Duvalier declares himself president for life. Okay, and his dictatorship is marked by repression, enforced by the feared Tonton Macoute, secret police. 1971, Francois Duvalier dies and is succeeded by his son, John Claude Duvalier, also known as Baby Doc. Repression increases. In the following decades, thousands of Haitian, quote unquote, boat people flee by sea to Florida. Many die on the way. Here is Haitian President Francois Duvalier's forces parade in front of the National Palace in Port-au-Prince, Haiti on May 15th, 1963, the day Duvalier's constitutional term as chief executive ended. He declared himself president for life. That reminds me of somebody else. I can't remember that person's name. It was this white guy. He wanted to stay in office, also try to incite an insurrection. I can't remember his name, but maybe y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's continue here. So 1986, popular revolt forces Baby Doc to flee Haiti to exile in France. Okay, Lieutenant General Henry Namfi takes over. 1988, General Prosper Avril takes over from Namfi in a coup. 1990, General Avril declares a state of siege and protest, but resigns ahead of elections under international pressure. 1990, former parish priest John Bertrand Aristide, a left-wing champion of the poor, wins Haiti's first free election. He was removed in a coup in 1991. 1994, U.S. troops intervened to oust military regime, and John Bertrand Aristide returns. UN peacemakers deploy in 1995, and Aristide protege René Préval is elected president. 1999, John Bertrand Aristide is elected president for a second term, despite disputed results. 2004, political unrest forces John Bertrand Aristide to flee, but the country descends into violence. 2006, Preval is going to, Rene Preval wins election, 2008 to 2010, a series of protests triggered by food shortages and cholera outbreak, and then over elections, a series of protests. Okay. Then, 2010, a catastrophic earthquake kills 100,000 to 300,000 people. Okay. In 2010 in Haiti, according to various estimates, causing widespread damage in Port-au-Prince and elsewhere. Despite an international relief effort, the country is all but overwhelmed, exacerbating political, social, and economic problems. Okay, so what I want to do, let's go to clip 3, Shakita. Now this is from the readout with Joanne Reed. Okay, this is from the readout with Joanne Reed today, and she's speaking with journalist Michelle Sendor, but she's laying out some of the history of Haiti. Let's go to this clip.
Early this morning, gunmen assassinated Haitian President Jovenel Moise and shot his wife at their private residence. A stunning development for a country roiled by gang violence, kidnappings, food shortages, and a surge in COVID infections. Which is all to say the situation in Haiti is dire, with bishops in that country described as on the verge of an explosion. Now, it often feels like we're not paying enough attention to Haiti, despite our centuries-long connection to our neighbor in the Caribbean. So I'm just going to take a moment to explain how we got here. Haiti's history is a story of revolution, what historian Marlene Doe calls the first Black Lives Matter movement. Haiti was once a French colony known as Saint-Dominique. It was one of the wealthiest colonies in the French Empire. Its plantations produced coffee, sugar, and indigo at the cost of immeasurable human suffering. Its slave trade was considered one of the most brutal in the entire world. Self-liberated enslaved people revolted, leading to the Haitian Revolution, led by the great Toussaint Louverture, and then the independence of Haiti from France in 1804, making Haiti the first modern state to abolish slavery, 3 years before Great Britain did. One massive outcome, the part Republicans want scrubbed from the textbooks, is that the revolution is why the French abandoned its plan to expand in the Americas, choosing instead to sell most of the land between the Rocky Mountains and the Mississippi River to the United States government, a transaction known as the Louisiana Purchase. Haiti went on to experience tremendous internal turmoil.
Pause it right there, Shakita. Pause it right there.
To pay enormous reparations to France.
When she talked about the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, it's important for people to understand the U.S. gets the equivalent about there's going to be about 15 states. They're going to carve out about 15 states out of this territory. They get about 828,000 square miles of land in the Louisiana Purchase. The Louisiana Purchase takes place because France is basically going bankrupt trying to fight the Haitians during the Haitian Revolution. Haitian Revolution really starts in 1791. Okay. I know Al Jazeera puts it at, starts in 1801. That's one phase of it. If we look at this piece here from, blackpast.org, dealing with the Haitian Revolution, is 1791 to 1804. It really starts in 1791, the Haitian Revolution. But 1803, you have the Louisiana Purchase signed by, Thomas Jefferson. Okay. And they get all this land. The U.S. is going to get all this land. And it basically doubles the territory of the U.S. at the time. Okay. The reason why the U.S. was able to get the land from the Louisiana Purchase is because the Haitians were beating the hell out of Napoleon Bonaparte and the French. Okay. But what this is going to do is this is going to give the U.S. more land to plant crops and to have slaves on. because, you know, they're trying to keep a balance between slave-holding states and free states. So even though all of the territory that they get, they don't have slaves on, but this is going to increase the need for slaves in this country coming from the U.S. getting this land from the Louisiana Purchase. And it's going to double the territory of the U.S. also. All right. But the reason why now the land that France sold, they stole from Native Americans and indigenous and African people who were here. That wasn't France's land to sell. OK, so one thief sold land to another thief. So when we look at the Louisiana Purchase, we really have to understand, put that. See, a lot of times they talk about the Louisiana Purchase, but they don't talk about why France had to sell the land. The Haitians were beating the hell out the French. And not only did the Haitians defeat the French during the Haitian Revolution, but the British and the Spanish were allies of the French in the Haitian Revolution, and the Haitians beat the hell out of all of them. Okay, and what this is going to do then, when they talked about in one of the clips, well, she's going to talk. Joy talks about this. The reparations that Haiti had to pay to these colonizers, okay, to these colonizers. There's another story that we'll probably talk about tomorrow, where Jamaica is demanding reparations from the Queen of England, rightfully so, because these are colonizers. All right. So when Meghan Markle married Prince Harry, I told you back then, it was 2018. I think it was 2019. They got married on Malcolm X's birthday, May 19th, which is also Queen Charlotte Sophia's birthday. OK, and Queen Charlotte Sophia was the wife of King George III. King George III was the king during the American Revolution. And this is who the 13 colonies are fighting against, the monarch King George III. But his wife is of African Moorish descent on her mother's side of the family, Queen Charlotte Sophia. OK, but if we look at this article here, and then we'll go back to the clip. In 1825, this is from Forbes.com. In 1825, Haiti paid France $21 billion to preserve its independence. Time for France to pay it back. OK, this is from December 6, 2017. This is the reparations that France had to pay these colonizers. OK, so when we look at the chaos that's going on in Haiti today, is because a lot of that has to do with intervention from European colonizers, including the U.S. A lot of that has to do with the intervention from European colonizers and this whole history going back 400 years or so, going back to the Spanish colonizers invading and raping Hispaniola, and the western portion is going to become Haiti. Okay, so let's go back to this clip, please.
Led by the great Toussaint Louverture, and then the independence of Haiti from France in 1804, making Haiti the first modern state to abolish slavery, 3 years before Great Britain did. One massive outcome, the part Republicans want scrubbed from the textbooks, is that the revolution is why the French abandoned its plan to expand in the Americas, choosing instead to sell most of the land between the Rocky Mountains and the Mississippi River to the United States government, a transaction known as the Louisiana Purchase. Haiti went on to experience tremendous internal turmoil and a toxic relationship with the West, from having to pay enormous reparations to France for overthrowing its slave owners, to a U.S. occupation that lasted 19 years. The U.S. also helped to sustain the Duvaliers, Papa Doc and Baby Doc, the dictators who ruled Haiti for nearly 30 years, before priest Jean-Bertrand Aristide became the first democratically elected president in 1990. The history of dictatorship and political upheaval has now culminated in the assassination of Haiti's latest head of state. Tack on natural disasters and scarce resources that everybody's fighting over, we're now seeing a revolutionary-style society that could very well implode. Haiti has plenty of reasons to mistrust foreign intervention, but there may be a revolution on our doorstep, so let's pay attention. Joining me now is Yamiche Alcindor, White House correspondent for PBS NewsHour and moderator of Washington Week. And, you know, I'm trying to set that up, Yamiche, I feel, because people don't understand the close relationship we always had to Haiti. It took us like 19 years to even recognize them as a free country until shortly before the Civil War. And then we just have been screwing around with them for all this time. In that context, is there anything that Haitian Americans and Haitians in that country believe we can do at this point or should do?
Well, thanks, Joy, for giving this story so much attention and for setting it up in this way. I've been talking to Haitian Americans on the ground, civil society members and members of the clergy all day. And what they really say is that Haitian people want to be heard. They want a transitional government. They want a government that isn't corrupt. They want a government that's going to be serving the actual people. Now, of course, the late President Jovenel Moise, there are a lot of people across the country mourning the loss of him, mourning his assassination. But there are also people who remind me today, even on today, that he is someone who was accused of corruption, who was accused of acting like a dictatorship. I interviewed someone, an expert, who said this is Haiti beyond a constitutional crisis. This is a new rock bottom for Haiti. People know Haiti as a struggling but this year, kidnapping in his own home. The Haitian people are saying now to the United States, listen to what we're saying. And what we're saying is that a traditional government, a government that is going to be thinking about the people and their needs is what we need. We don't need Marines, I'm told. We don't need UN intervention. What we need is the Haitian people to have power and resources given to them to have their own destiny, to be in power of that.
And I think we both know Jackie Charles is a phenomenal reporter at the Miami Herald who reported some really strange details. Yeah, she is the best. Well, you and she are the best. You're equally the best. She reported some really weird details here, including what seemed like American voices being heard during the assassination. We're not sure if that was a recording or what, in a seeming attempt to make it look like the DEA was involved. Given that, the White House had to respond and say, no, the DEA was not involved in this. Are there any new details on that? And is the White House responding in any way or planning to do more than just issue that statement?
I've been talking to White House officials all day about this, including shouting a question to President Biden today. And what I'm hearing is that U.S. officials know that they need to do something. President Biden ran on this idea that he was going to be keeping promises to Haiti. And there have been a lot of Haitian Americans who are frankly disappointed because President Biden was supporting the late President Jovenel Moise, who a lot of people said was in power past his due time and had been acting illegally. So the United States now is looking at what their solutions are. It sounds like the solutions are going to be trying to give more security investments to the national police in Haiti, trying to secure what's going on the ground there. But the United States hasn't really figured out what its strategy is, other than saying that there need to be elections this year, where Haitian Americans are saying that's simply not possible. People are too scared on the ground there. This is a real quagmire for the Biden administration, but this is a country that is just so close to the United States that there's going to have to be a solution, and the United States is going to have to be involved.
Right, because, between our policy with Cuba and our policy with Haiti, these are two countries that quickly, every crisis there becomes a migration crisis at some point. Very quickly, is there any concern that might be another element of what happens next if there's pure chaos there?
Of course, the idea that Haitians, there's something like the UNICEF said that 18,000 people in the last few months have fled their homes. People are terrified, Joy. I've been talking to people on the ground, and people can't leave their homes. People are sheltering in place right now. So there is this migration issue, but really there also is this issue of whether or not people can even survive in Haiti at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Yamiche Alcindor. Really appreciate you being here to talk about this very important issue tonight. Okay, well, up next. You're not the boss of me.
Okay, pause it right there. Pause it right there. All right. We're going to go to clip 2. Just a second here. Okay. So that was Joy Reid from MSNBC, the Readout, and Yamiche Alcindor, and giving some background historical information on Haiti and giving some information on what's taking place today. Okay, in Haiti. All right, now I want to look at the updates from the Washington Post right quick. Okay, and then we'll go to this. Then I want to go to this interview here that Roland Martin did today with the U.S. ambassador to. The Haitian ambassador to the U.S., I should say, the Haitian ambassador to the U.S. Okay. want to flip over and look at the updates here from the Washington Post. And let me refresh the screen here so we get the most recent updates. Just bear with me here. Haitian President Jovenel Moise assassinated at his home by unidentified gunmen. Police said 2 of the assailants have been detained and 4 others killed. Okay. So a group of gunmen wielding assault weapons assassinated Haitian President Moise and wounded his wife at their home in the hills overlooking Port-au-Prince Wednesday. This was early Wednesday morning. It's about 1 a.m., plunging the Western Hemisphere's poorest nation deeper into a destabilizing crisis. Okay, pushing Haiti deeper into a destabilizing crisis. The attack by assailants that Haitian authorities described as quote unquote commandos comes amid months of escalating political instability and gang violence that have critically eroded the rule of law in the Caribbean nation of 11 million. President Moise was 53 years old. He dissolved parliament in January 2020 and ruled by decree as opponents and protesters demanded that he step down. As protesters and opponents demand that he step down. Armed gangs with unclear allegiances have seized control of growing portions of the country, terrorizing the population with kidnappings, rapes, and killings. Okay, so Leon Charles, head of the Haitian National Police, told reporters on Wednesday, July 7th, that his forces had detained 2 of the assailants and killed 4 others, liberating 3 police officers being held hostage in the process. He said police had been engaging the attackers since the early hours of Wednesday after blocking roads they had intended to use to escape the city. Leon Charles, head of the Haitian National Police, said, quote, "As I am talking to you, the fighting is ongoing with the assailants. We will hunt them. They can be killed in an exchange of bullets or arrested." Now, Haitian authorities did not identify the assailants killed or in custody, but Communications Minister Pradel Henriquez said the men were quote unquote foreigners. Haitian authorities, eyewitnesses, and videos that circulated on social media indicated that assailants were speaking Spanish and English in the Creole and French-speaking country, and apparently claimed to be with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration to sow confusion during the audacious operation. There were no immediate reports of injuries among the president's security detail, prompting questions about why the attackers apparently met little resistance. Okay, let's go quickly here to clip number 2. This is from Roland Martin Unfiltered. He's speaking with the Haitian ambassador to the U.S. Let's go to this clip. Clip number. Go ahead.
Some suffering that certainly can apply to our brothers and sisters in Haiti. That country is still under siege and is in a state of siege. International airport, as we speak, is shut down. Why? Because overnight, the president of Haiti, Jovenel Moise, was assassinated early this morning in his home. His wife, Martinez, is recovering from the injuries she sustained in the attack. Claude Joseph, the interim prime minister, called the killing a, quote, hateful, inhumane, and barbaric act. There's been lots of drama in Haiti over the last several years. The Haitian president, some say he should have been removed and he was operating illegally. The country is they've had protests and all kinds of things that have been happening in Haiti. The people have been angered by what they have seen when it comes to lack of food, lack of opportunities. All of that, of course, 11 years ago, an earthquake devastated Haiti. Billions of dollars poured into the country, and many say things have not changed for the better. But keep in mind also that one of the reasons that Haiti is in the condition that it is in is because after they got their freedom, after they defeated the French and came to slavery, they were forced to pay back. They were forced to pay
What happened? All right. Though we're out of time here on 910 AM Superstation WFDF. Those watching on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. Keep watching. We're going to keep broadcasting. If you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Remember, right now it's correct wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace. All right, stand by, everybody. Stand by. Let me disconnect this call here. Okay. All right. So this is our official Cash App account, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App. You can support us there if you like this type of information, or through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. Okay. Let's continue here. Also, be sure to register for the online course that I teach. We have a new session, a new class to start up on Sundays. Sunday, July 4th, it started, class number 1. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. We deal with thousands of years of history and what led up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. So we have the information on our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for it there. And we pull this up here. Next class is Sunday, July 11th. Sunday, July 11th is the next class. So it's going to be 10 consecutive Sundays. And we deal with over 50,000 years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade. We deal with the ancient Africa, ancient Kemet, Ethiopia, Ta-Nehisi, Nubia, the Nile Valley region of Africa. We deal with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors, and what led up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. Okay, so I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips, guest speakers. Dr. David Imhotep, who wrote the book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence, spoke to my class on June 12th, the Saturday class. He spoke to my class June 12th. And as soon as you register, you can start watching archive content. You can join us in class live on Sunday, June 11th. Okay, that's the next live class. But we have archived content from the Saturday class that I'm teaching that's wrapping up right now. We have like 1 or 2 more sessions. So he spoke to my class. Dr. David Imhotep spoke to the class June 12th. So you'll be able to watch that archive content also. So at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, click on the click right here where it says register here, and it takes you to the next page, and click on enroll. As soon as you enroll, you can start watching the content. You can watch class number 1 that we did Sunday, July 4th. And then you can watch the archived information from the Saturday course also. Okay. And you'll be ready for class on Sunday, July 11th. Sunday, July 11th means 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Okay, let's continue here. I want to go back to, let me cue this up. I want to go to the interview that Roland Martin did today. I want to go to the interview that Roland did today. And he spoke with the Haitian ambassador to the U.S. Okay, let me, I have to cue that up here because we're not broadcasting on 910 AM WFDF anymore. They had it queued up at the radio station, but I need to cue it up here. So just a second. We'll get that going. Everybody share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. Okay, stand by. Let me get this queued up. Okay.
Overnight, the president of Haiti, Jovenel Moise, was assassinated early this morning in his home. His wife, Martinen, is recovering from the injuries she sustained in the attack. Claude Joseph, the interim prime minister, called the killing a, quote, hateful, inhumane, and barbaric act. There has been lots of drama in Haiti over the last several years. The Haitian president, some say he should have been removed, that he was operating illegally. The country has been they've had protests and all kinds of different things that have been happening in Haiti. The people have been angered by what they have seen when it comes to lack of food, lack of opportunities, all of that. Of course, it was 11 years ago. An earthquake devastated Haiti. Billions of dollars poured into the country, and many say things have not changed for the better. But keep in mind also that one of the reasons that Haiti is in the condition that it is in is because after they got their freedom, after they defeated the French when it came to slavery, they were forced to pay back. They were forced to pay the very people who they beat in the war. You haven't actually heard that happen before. And so you are dealing with a historical issue here as well. Joining us right now to discuss what's happening there is Bachit Edmond, the Haitian ambassador to the United States. Certainly glad to have you here, Ambassador, on Roland Martin Unfiltered. First of all, right now, who is in control? What is going on? Typically, let's say in the United States, if there's an assassination of a president, the vice president steps in, Speaker of the House, and you have a chain of command. What actually is the situation as we speak in Haiti?
The current situation is there is an entry.
So we can get a lot of feedback if you can actually bring your volume down because there's a loop going. We'll go right ahead.
So there is an interim government in place, meaning that this interim government has the responsibility to step in and assure the health of the country. But we believe there has been also a prime minister named, but he was in the process of forming a new government. He didn't have the time to assume office yet. Therefore, the interim government is the caretaker government for now until we clear the path to have a better discussion and to know who is going to lead the country. But so far, the interim prime minister is the chair of the Council of Ministers, which is, according to the Constitution, that should be taking place. Any case, any situation would have occurred to the president.
So the interim president, but correct me if I'm wrong, the assassinated president last week, did he not ask for all of his prime ministers to resign?
No, the president requested the resignation of the prime minister because he wanted to have a national consensus government. He wanted to give the post of the prime minister to the opposition parties because that was one of the recommendations of the OAS, the delegation in Haiti, and that's what he wanted to do. And as a matter of fact, it did that on Monday. It named a new prime minister from the opposition parties so that prime minister could form a new government. But unfortunately, the event happened this morning, and the prime minister didn't have the time to form the government yet. But since there is a vacuum, it is the most absolute necessity to have a government to have authorities to step in. And the interim government has to step in to be the caretaker until we clear the situation up.
Obviously, today, President Joe Biden spoke on the issue there. Others did as well. You also have talked about how grave a situation this is. I'm going to play that a little bit later. But you also have what is being spread around, who was behind this. I've seen some reports saying the assassins claim to be with the United States Drug Enforcement Agency. They were speaking Spanish. They were speaking English. So what do you know right now? Who is leading this investigation? Has Haiti asked for international law enforcement help to lead the investigation to find out who killed the Haitian president?
Of course, this morning in my conversation with the White House, I did request that officially, that the United States help in the conduct of the investigation because they have expertise in that. Because we're talking about the assassination of a head of state. And what I can tell you now, according to the information I have from the Prime Minister, it seems that the National Police has caught some of those mercenaries. Now they are being arrested, and they are going to be questioned, interrogated, and we're still seeking for more for the rest because we believe there are more than 30. But right now there are more than 20 under the police arrest. We are going to interrogate them, to question them, and to know the motive, the real motive, or who sent them. But when it comes to the DEA, those people, they use the DEA name and thing just to mask what they came to do to kill the president. They were not DEA agents. They were fake DEA agents.
Now, here's what I find to be interesting, and again, we're just trying to understand all this here. He was living in his private residence. He's heavily guarded. Were any of his security detail injured in the shooting?
That's why I believe I will leave it to the investigation, because your question troubled me as well, because we want to make sure that if the private residence of the president is not a place you can go easily like this. So it's an outskirt of Port-au-Prince. It's a very well secured area, and we just don't understand exactly what happened. And that's why I will leave to the investigation to reveal exactly what happened, why they didn't have any resistance whatsoever. So let us wait.
And the reason I'm raising that point, because this is simple. If you had individuals, and what we're showing right now is some video that was actually shot by folks who live near the compound. If you had assailants, mercenaries, whatever you want to call them, who stormed the facility to kill the president, that means that there would have been folks protecting him who were injured, which raises the question: was this an inside job? Were the people, were those who were charged with protecting the president, were they actually involved? So the question of his security detail, are they being detained? Have they been placed under arrest? Are they being questioned?
Your question is a valid point. I've been asking myself as well. But as I told you before, I'll prefer leaving that to the investigation, because I don't want to make any speculation or confirm anything without having details from the National Police investigation.
I did see here that, and this is from a source. This is from the Inside paper. They actually have a video here that the First Lady of Haiti, that she has been flown to Florida, is going to be treated in Miami. Is that correct?
Yeah, she's been in Miami for the last 4 hours. She's at the hospital now being treated. We do hope, we pray that she will come out, of this very tragic situation.
We have discussed what has happened in Haiti for a number of times, and the country has been beset with significant issues. The head of the High Court there died of COVID-19 last month. You also have had all these different protests that have been going on in the country as well, lots of unrest. And so what many folks are asking is, what is it going to take to have a stable government in Haiti, to have peaceful transfer of power, and for the people to feel confident that the country will be well run and won't be dealing with corruption, won't be dealing with things along those lines?
First of all, it is primarily the responsibility of every Haitians, politicians, to make sure that they do their best to contribute to the stability, political stability of the country. At the same time, while it is the responsibility of the Haitian politicians to do their part, but I also understand, I also believe that some of our partners of the international community do have certain responsibilities as well, because we cannot give the blame entirely to the Haitian authorities or to the Haitian politicians, because we understand the way we've been working with most of the international partners, and we don't believe that necessary help and assistance have been given to the country. There is something you mentioned in your program when it comes to after the earthquake, when it comes to $1 billion were poured into the country. But unfortunately, those money were not managed by the government. They were managed by NGOs. That's why Haiti has on a second name, they call it the Republic of NGOs. So this is to show you that there is a responsibility of the international community. Those NGOs, they are not accountable for the money they spent on our behalf. They receive the money, they spend the money, and most of the time, if you take the example, on $1, $1 US, most of the time, 95 cents come back to the country, either to the US or to France or to other countries. 95 cents. I mean, 5 cents only are left in the country, and that's why you cannot see the impacts. And while the American taxpayers, when they know they've been contributing a lot to help Haiti stand up. But unfortunately, those money were not channeled to the government. They were channeled by NGOs, and they are the ones who manage those money. And if we want to talk about corruptions, that's where the corruptions reside, within the NGOs, not only in the government, in the private sector, but the NGOs have also responsibility, because there is an opacity in the way they manage their money on our behalf, and we don't know anything. They don't want to give report. We don't know anything what they're doing. So that's why it's very important to call in a new way, in a new paradigm when it comes to NGOs in Haiti. If we want to talk about development, if we want to talk about political stability, NGOs have also some responsibilities. They need to take the blame as well.
Ambassador Bakshit Edmond, the Haitian ambassador to the United States, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. We'll certainly be watching to see what happens in this country in the wake of the assassination of your president. Thanks a lot.
So that is from Roland Martin Unfiltered from Wednesday, July 7th, 2021, Roland Martin Unfiltered. And Roland was speaking with the Haitian ambassador to the U.S., Bakshit Edmond. Haitian ambassador to the U.S., Bakshit Edmond. Okay, in dealing with the assassination of Haitian President Jovenel Moise. So I want to go back to the updates here from the Washington Post. This Washington Post has live updates, and I've been monitoring the different news sources and refreshing the screen to get the latest information, to get the latest updates. So let me flip back over to this here. But all this ties into history as well, understanding the history of Haiti and interference from European forces. On tomorrow's show, we're going to, if we have time, we're going to try to squeeze in talking about Jamaica demanding reparations from the Queen of England. Okay. And that ties into a history of colonizing that England has done. And going back to 1915, about 1/5 of the world population was under British rule. You're dealing with colonizers. Okay. And Jamaica was one of the British colonies, and they're going to set up these sugarcane plantations in Jamaica as well. Jamaica is originally going to be conquered by Columbus, okay, in 1494, but it's going to fall into the hands of the British. So, and you're going to have these different European nations fighting over these new territories that they're conquering, and they're trying to extract the wealth, trying to rebuild Europe, because Europe was coming out of the Dark Ages, late 1400s, early 1500s, and because of the Black Death, the bubonic plague, Europe had lost 1/4 to 1/3 of their population. The Black Death hits in 1347 AD and hits in spurts from 1347 to 1400. And Europe loses between 25 million to 75 million people. So as Dr. John Henrik Clarke says, Europe was land poor, people poor, and resource poor. And, they're conquering, they are exploring new lands to them, conquering people's lands, enslaving people, setting up sugarcane plantations, setting up various types of plantations, extracting the mineral wealth out of the land, etc. Okay, so I want to go back to let me flip back over here to the Washington Post. Just a second here. Okay. Updates from the Washington Post. Haitian President Jovenel Moise assassinated at his home by unidentified gunmen. We know at least 4 suspects have been killed and at least 2 have been arrested. Now, interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph, who said he was now the head of Haiti's government, denounced the, quote, odious, inhuman, and barbaric attack. Haiti's ambassador to the United States, Bochit Edmond, who you just heard from, that's who Roland Martin interviewed today, said the government had requested assistance from the United States in boosting its police and armed forces. He said a manhunt was underway to chase down what he called, quote, well-trained professional killers, commandos, quote, well-trained professional killers, quote, commandos. Well-trained professional killers, commandos. Now, no group immediately claimed responsibility for the attack. Interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph denounced a nationwide state of siege with security under the control of the country's armed forces and police. He appealed to Haitians to remain calm and called on, quote, all the forces of the nation to accompany us in this battle in the continuity of the state, because democracy and the republic must win. Democracy and the republic must win. President Joe Biden condemned what he called the quote unquote heinous act. As you heard in the previous clip that we played earlier in the show, President Biden said, we stand ready to assist as we continue to work for a safe and secure Haiti. He said this speaking to reporters at the White House. He called the attack, quote, very worrisome, end quote, and said we need a lot more information. Now, neighbors heard the outbreak of heavy machine gun fire shortly after 1 a.m. Coming in spurts of 10 to 5 minutes for more than an hour. Ralph Chevry a board member of the Haiti Center for Socio Policy in Port-au-Prince, which is the capital of Haiti. He said, the weapons I heard, I have never heard in Haiti before. The weapons I heard, I have never heard in Haiti before. He lives just over a mile from the president's residence and said he heard the fighting clearly. Now, Ralph Chevry said neighbors heard the black-clad assailants speaking in Spanish in audio recordings purportedly made during the attack, the authenticity of which could not be confirmed by the Washington Post. At least one man with an American accent speaks in English and claims to be from the DEA. DEA operation, everybody stand down, the man says in what sounds like a Southern accent. Now, U.S. officials strongly denied the claim. The Biden administration has supported President Moise. It sounded like a ruse, a tactic, Ralph Chevry said. In a grainy video, eyewitnesses describe at least some of the attackers as quote unquote white and said they see some of them walking by Haitian police who they say appear to be standing down. Now, do you see these guys disarming Jovenel's guys? One man asked. The president is gone, quote unquote. Bochit Edmond, the Haitian ambassador to the U.S., said, quote, I am convinced they were foreigners, though they might have been helped by some nationals for logistics, for cars, and how they arranged to arrive at the president's home. He went on to say they need assistance. They were screaming DEA operation, but we know it was fake. We know they were not DEA agents, end quote. Now, State Department spokesman Ned Price said, asked Wednesday about reports of foreign mercenaries in the operation, said when asked Wednesday about reports of foreign mercenaries in the operation, said, quote, we don't have clear answers at this time. What we do know and what we've said is that Haitian authorities are investigating and we stand ready to offer assistance to that investigation, end quote. Ned Price went on to say, State Department spokesman Ned Price went on to say, it is still the view of the United States that elections this year should proceed. We have urged the Haitian government and stakeholders repeatedly to reach a political accord to ensure legislative and presidential elections take place this year. Now, Bochit Edmond, Haitian ambassador to the U.S., said of Haitian First Lady Martine Moise, he said that she remained in critical but stable condition. An airplane carried her Wednesday afternoon to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for care in the United States. Bochit Edmond said the Haitian government had been in contact with the State Department and the White House. Now, in the wake of the assault, the streets of Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, were eerily calm on Wednesday, with little police presence beyond the presidential residence, even as a sense of fear lingered. Okay. Cliff Fortson Desir, an electrician in Port-au-Prince, said the news has shaken us. If the first man of the country can be killed like that, the population is not safe. All right. Now, last Wednesday, gunshots rang out in Pétionville, in the Pétionville suburb of Port-au-Prince. A senior Haitian official said police had discovered a safe house being used by suspected assailants. The official also said that John Rebel Dossanat, who served as Jovenel Moise's liaison to the powerful street gangs, was detained for questioning near the border with the Dominican Republic. Okay, read the rest of this, and we'll talk some more about this on tomorrow's show. This is from the Washington Post. Haitian President Jovenel Moise assassinated at his home by unidentified gunmen. And they have New York Times, CNN, Washington Post have live updates of what is taking place. Also, check out the article here from NBC News, and they're going to update it. This one here: 4 suspects in Haiti assassination killed, 2 arrested after president's death, police chief says. There's also another one from NBC News. Let me see. We'll pull this up here. This is the first article dealing with the assassination here. Let's pull this one up. Okay, this one is Haitian President Jovenel Moise assassinated. And let me see, what does it say here? Okay, First Lady injured in attack, interim PM Prime Minister says. The country's First Lady was injured in the attack on their residence. That's from July 7th, 2021, also from NBC News. Okay, New York Times has some really good reporting on this as well. They have live updates that I was reading also from the New York Times. I've got that up in Firefox. I have Firefox and Google Chrome up. I've got probably close to 75 to 100 tabs open. So just a second here, slow down. You can look at the live updates also from the New York Times as well. Okay. Our live updates hours after Haiti's president is assassinated. 4 suspects killed and 2 arrested. Okay. And so you can check out the live updates from New York Times, CNN, etc. All right. I want to go quickly here. I want to try to, I didn't know I was going to spend so much time on this first story. I want to go quickly to, back to the story we were talking about on Tuesday's show. And this deals with, Nikole Hannah-Jones and Ta-Nehisi Coates, joining the faculty at, Howard University. And we know that Nikole Hannah-Jones was interviewed on Tuesday, July 6th on CBS This Morning with Gayle King, okay? And she announced in that interview that she was not going to accept a faculty position, a tenured position with University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. She was already a professor there in the journalism school, the Hussman School of Journalism. And we know it became a public issue that conservatives on the board were blocking her tenureship because largely to do with the 1619 project that she spearheaded for the New York Times. Okay. So, Nikole Hannah-Jones and Ta-Nehisi Coates were both, interviewed by Joanne Reed on, the readout on Tuesday, July 6, 2021. Okay. So I want to go to that clip here.
Pulitzer Prize winning journalist for her work on the New York Times 1619 project and a UNC alum. was originally set to fill the school's own prestigious night chair in race and investigative journalism. After a rigorous review and recommendation, followed by howls of complaints from right-wingers offended by the 1619 project, Hannah-Jones was at first denied tenure by the Board of Trustees. That sparked a fierce backlash, which led the university to reverse course and offer her tenure last week. For the record, the professorship has always been a tenured position. Breaking her silence, Hannah-Jones issued a statement today that laid out in great detail how painful this entire process has been. She writes, "Why would I want to teach at a university whose top leadership chose to remain silent, to refuse transparency, to fail to publicly advocate that I be treated like every other night chair before me? These times demand courage, and those who have held the most power in this situation have exhibited the least of it. The burden of working for racial justice is laid on the very people bearing the brunt of the injustice and not the powerful people who maintain it. I say to you, I refuse." And joining me now is the brand new inaugural night chair in race and reporting at Howard University, Nikole Hannah-Jones, and incoming Sterling Brown chair in the Department of English at Howard University, Ta-Nehisi Coates. I am so jealous that I'm no longer teaching this semester. I finished my semester last year just in the nick of time at Howard. But welcome to the Howard family. I'm so proud of both of you and excited. I want to start with you, Nikole. You wrote this phenomenal piece, and I hope everyone will read it, in which you really work through the pain of being denied this opportunity at the place where you went to graduate school. You're an alum, and how much you said the university gave you and fed into you and sowed into you to only have this happen. I just want to for a moment, talk to us about how that felt to have that go through that whole process only to be told no tenure.
Thank you for having us on tonight, and thanks for the conversation. It was humiliating. It was deeply hurtful, and it was enraging because, as you know, you don't grow up a Black child in this country without being told that you have to work twice as hard to get half as far, that you have to be twice as good. But I've been that. And to do everything that you are told to do to be successful, and then have them change the rules at the end, at a school that I am an alum of, and for a job that I didn't seek out, but that I was recruited for. It just confirms, my life's work, everything that Ta-Nehisi and I write about how Black people are treated in this country, and how even if you follow all of their rules, in the end, it's not going to guarantee that you'll be treated fairly. And that's why I fought this. That's why I demanded the vote. And that's why I ultimately made the decision to walk away.
And, the thing is that we're kind of taught, and you talked about this a little bit as well, those of us who went to, PWIs and not to HBCUs undergrad, you have in your head growing up that, the pinnacle is to go to fill in the blanks, the school of your dreams, Harvard, Yale, whatever school it is. And, I was talking with Jason Johnson, he was hosting Ari's show today, about the fact that set us back a generation, the schools that were producing the greatest minds in American history, the minds that broke the back of segregation and the rules that had been in this country in place since the 1619, which is why you wrote that project. The rules that excluded us came from HBCUs. Do you feel like you're going to Howard and saying no to UNC after they belatedly offered you tenure? Do you think that that's going to spark more young people to change the vision in their minds to Howard?
I certainly hope so, and I know that Ta-Nehisi hopes so as well. I mean, look, I chose Notre Dame because I felt as a Black woman, I had to have this certain credential that if I wanted white society to believe that I was actually intelligent and capable, then I needed to have an elite white institution on my resume. And I hated my time at Notre Dame. It was traumatizing. I haven't been back there since 1999. It's the first place I was ever called. The N-word was on that campus. And so we have to get to the point where we ask ourselves, we deserve to be at those places, absolutely. But is that the best thing for us? And so I certainly hope that us making this decision a choice, right? This is not a consolation prize for me. This is what I wanted. I decided I was going to go to a historically Black college. I had other options and I didn't want to go anywhere else. That other students will realize, as you said, Howard University has played of any kind of academic institution in this country, right? The largest role in Black people achieving right of any institution in this country, right? The tradition of doctors, lawyers, professionals coming out of HBCUs still is an amazing tradition to be a part of. And we don't need to feel that we have to get validation from these other institutions. We can come home and build our own.
Yeah, and Ta-Nehisi, I have to bring you in here, and I want to thank you because I know you don't do a ton of TV, so I'm very honored to get to talk to you tonight. I feel like
Can
I'm
you talk
talking
about my lighting.
We're gonna work on that. We're gonna send you a ring light. You got a great new job, so we're gonna get you a ring light.
Do something here.
We're gonna hook you up. I feel like I'm talking to the T'Challa and Okoye of academia right now. So Wakanda forever. You have written, so searingly about the theft that has undergirded American society, right? The plunder, as you've put it. And I think part of that has been psychic. It has been for so long accepting the bland narrative that lionized these founders as sort of a bedtime story rather than confront the real pain that's in the history that built us to be strong as we are. Do you think that this chapter teaches the people at UNC anything about the ramifications, the consequences of that plunder? Or do you think they say, good, 2 less problematic Black people that are going to tell our poor white students who are so fragile that they can't handle the truth, they won't tell them that now? What do you think they learn?
Well, I think one of the things that was clear in Nikole's statement that when we use the term UNC, we're talking about a fairly big community. UNC is not merely its board of trustees. UNC is the students who protested on behalf of UNC. Yes. The dean at the School of Journalism, Dean King, on behalf of UNC is the Department of Journalism there that is regrettably named after somebody who is the antithesis of journalism, but nevertheless advanced Nikole's package. I think that has to be said because, Nikole, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe UNC is also the oldest public university in this country. And what that means is that this too is theft, because this is an institution of Black people in North Carolina and our public institutions in general that we pay into. And what has happened is that the Black students and the white students and, students of all, races and creeds at UNC has been denied the counsel of arguably the most decorated journalist in America right now. Nikole Hannah-Jones, if I can just sing her praises, is not just the author of 1619. She is a Peabody winner. She is a National Magazine winner. She was hot before 1619. And as much as I'm happy that she's coming to Howard, I am also sad for those students.
Yeah, no, I am too. Listen, she spoke at my class and my students were mesmerized. They were afraid to ask questions. They were so absolutely mesmerized by her. And I sent all of them copies of the 1619 Project as part of their little package at the end. But, I have to ask you to stay with you for a moment, Ta-Nehisi. Why do you think, if you can step outside of it just for a moment and look at what Nikole wrote in terms of what she created in terms of 1619 Project, look at the things that you've written, the things Adam Serwa has written. They've been searing, but they're just facts, right? They're not dangerous in and of themselves. They're just ideas. Why do you think that people on the right are so terrified of these facts?
But they are dangerous. They are. They're extremely dangerous. The political order in this country is predicated on a bedtime story. The history is not merely something that lives outside of the politics. There's a reason why the Confederate flag hung over the state of South Carolina. There's a reason why those statues were erected. They are a part of the political order. They justify the anti-democratic power that exists in this country. And so, the one thing I will say about that, and Joy, you mentioned this, is that HBCUs, frankly, not just Howard, whether it be Morehouse, whether it be, A&T, whether it be FAMU, whether it be Coppin, whether it be, Morgan, we have always been
Don't forget Bethune-Cookman.
Bethune-Cookman, they can all Spelman. Let's go. I mean, the whole community, because it's not just Howard. These have always been readouts in places where one would say a more truthful, more accurate, or more, as it turns out, searing version of America was rendered to its students. And I think that's important.
And to come back to you, Nikole, do you fear that parts of white America are just going to further retreat into the bedtime story. That this rejection of true history, we're seeing it in Texas where they're banning book events because they just don't want to hear the real story of the Alamo. Just give us the bedtime story. Do you fear that that retreat is just going to get more intense over time? And if it does, what are the consequences of that?
Absolutely. I mean, I've said that the same places that are trying to ban the teaching of critical race theory, that are trying to ban the 1619 Project, which is actually, they're just trying to ban the teaching of the true racist history of this country. Those are the same places that are introducing and passing laws to restrict the vote, right? Those are places that are trying to ensure minority rule and that the people who the majority are supporting cannot actually have control of the politics of the state. So these things are going hand in hand. And that's why when Ta-Nehisi says that ideas are dangerous, we know. There's a reason Black people during slavery were not allowed to read, right? There's a reason why there were prohibitions during slavery on abolitionist literature, because ideas change action. And the way that you sustain an unequal society is by making us think that this is an equal society. And so if you don't succeed, it's because you haven't tried enough. So it's not incidental that after we see the largest protest for civil rights and Black rights in the history of this country, and when you started to see the language changing, and even white people who had before rejected the idea of systemic inequality starting to say, well, maybe this isn't the country I thought it was. That is then why you see this backlash. To say, actually, no. Yeah. If you learn that history, they're saying you're bad white people. They're saying that you are evil and we can't teach this to you. So none of this is incidental, and it is. It's very dangerous. We've seen this before.
Okay. So that is from the readout Tuesday, July 6th. The readout, Joanne Reed on MSNBC. She interviewed Ta-Nehisi Coates and Nikole Hannah-Jones, okay, about them joining the faculty at Howard University. Nikole Hannah-Jones is turning down the tenureship at University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, after all the hoops they put her through. And she's more than qualified to be a tenured professor there. And she told them she basically did a Della Reese, like I said yesterday. She basically did a Della Reese. She was interviewed on CBS This Morning by Gayle King, okay, 2 African-American women, millions of people watching. You can look at this piece here from NBC News that talks about it. Let me flip over to this one. The article I had up is the one from Huffington Post. This is NBC News. Nikole Hannah-Jones declines UNC's tenure over position at Howard University. Okay. So you have this, and then like I said, she did a Della Reese on him. She didn't tweet about it. She made her announcement on CBS This Morning, millions of people watching, and she didn't curse. She didn't curse out, at least on the air. She didn't curse out University of North Carolina. She was very prim and proper, and she was very intelligent, and she blew them away. Okay. And she did a Della Reese on them, like Della Reese from Harlem Nights. Okay. When they were coming out of the jail. And this is basically what she told them. All right, so that's basically that's Della Reese from Harlem Nights. That's basically what she told him. She did that live. She did that live on CBS This Morning. Okay, and then it's been viewed almost 100,000 times on YouTube. Numerous articles have been written about it. So she put them on. She put UNC on blast. This is what happens. And she did it on Della Reese's birthday, because July 6th was Della Reese's birthday also. So that's like triple black girl magic. Gayle King interviewing Nikole Hannah-Jones, and Nikole Hannah-Jones did a Della Reese on Della Reese's birthday. All right. So I want to go to this last story, and this deals with actress Suzzanne Douglas. Okay. Actress Suzzanne Douglas, who all of us remember from the mother on the Parenthood with Robert Townsend. Okay. Really good family oriented TV show. She passed away at age 64 on Tuesday, and I got the word from Roland Martin that he posted about it. I first saw his post on Instagram, and I think it was when I got off the air. When was it? Was it either when I was still on the air or when I got off the air or something? On Tuesday, and I saw his post about it. So I'd been posting about it. One of the first articles I saw was from Essence magazine, essence.com, dealing with her passing. And we're going to talk about that for a few minutes here also. So I want to go to this article here from essence.com. This is actress Suzzanne Douglas dead at 64. Actress Suzzanne Douglas dead at 64. I was also looking at the article from blackamericaweb.com as well on her passing. So let me pull this up here. She was also in the movie Tap with Gregory Hines. She was a brilliant sister. She was an actress, a dancer, very, very talented. Okay, so if we look at this piece here from Essence magazine, Suzzanne Douglas was known for her roles in a number of movies and TV shows in the 1990s, including the movie Tap, the TV show The Parenthood, and the movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back with Angela Bassett. And I follow Angela Bassett on Twitter. Angela Bassett also posted on Twitter about this. We're going to see if we can bring up. I'm going to bring up I'm sorry, Instagram. I'm going to see if I can bring up my Instagram page and look at the I want to look at the post from Angela Bassett on Instagram also. But if we look at this article here, Suzzanne Douglas, known for her leading role in the Robert Townsend sitcom, The Parenthood, has passed away at age 64. Angie T reported to be a cousin of Suzzanne Douglas. Other late actress broke the news of Suzzanne Douglas' death on Facebook July 6th. On Facebook, July 6th. In her post, she wrote, Suzzanne Douglas, a beautiful and talented actress, made her transition today. She warmed our hearts on movie screens and television sets all over the world. This beautiful soul was my cousin. Quote, I can remember growing up, there weren't very many black actresses who had starring roles, but there was my cousin with the role in Tap, the movie Tap, starring alongside great dancers such as Gregory Hines and Sammy Davis Jr. She also performed with Angela Bassett and Whoopi Goldberg in How Stella Got Her Groove Back, The Inkwell, Jason's Lyric, and so much more. The list goes on. The world will miss your talent, but your soul will live on forever. Rest in paradise, my beautiful cousin Suzzanne. You will be missed. Rest in peace. Okay, now, I I want to, let's flip over here to the article. This is the article here from Essence. And I want to go to, didn't I pull it up here? I want to go to Instagram. Let me go to Angela Bassett. Go to Angela Bassett here on, okay, let's go to this post from Angela Bassett, and let's blow this up here. Let's flip over to this one. I am Angela Bassett on Instagram. So you see this picture here with Angela Bassett with Suzzanne Douglas. Just a second. Okay. She says, Suzzanne was my brave, beautiful, and brilliant sister, an incandescent light among us. I adored her essence, her energy, her faith, and her fight. Suzzanne's spirit was contagious. Throw this up. Suzzanne's spirit was contagious. She saw the best in everyone. And God's hand in every challenge, even the most difficult. Rest, sweet angel. Okay, so many celebrities are weighing in on the passing of Suzzanne Douglas. Robert Townsend, I was on Twitter today, and I shared the tweet from Robert Townsend, who she starred opposite of on the Parenthood. And let me go to Robert Townsend's tweet here. And there's a picture from the cast. I also saw the Instagram post from Reagan Gomez Preston, who played her daughter Zaria on the Parenthood. So Robert Townsend tweeted, my heart is full because yesterday I lost my amazing dancing partner on TV for 5 years, Suzzanne Douglas. We did work on the Parenthood. I just remember a lot of laughter and a lot of tears. Her regal bright light will be missed. Okay, so that's Robert Townsend from July 7th, 2021. And you see the cast there from the Parenthood. Now, let me go back to, I want to go back to the article here from Essence. Let me go back to the article from Essence just a second here. And there's also one from blackamericaweb.com as well. I followed her on Instagram, Suzzanne Douglas. I saw the post from Roland, so then I followed her on Instagram. Let me see, is this the right one? Yeah, I think this is the right one here. Okay. All right. Let me go back to the article from Essence. Just a second here. Okay. Let's get this. Okay, let's post this new one. What is this here? Okay. All right, I need to get the new Chiron up. Okay, so we go back to the article here from Essence. So she was in The Inkwell, Jason's Lyric, How Stella Got a Groove Back. Now, in 2015, she portrayed Cissy Houston in the Lifetime biopic Whitney, okay, from Lifetime, about the life of Whitney Houston. Now, Suzzanne Douglas appeared in a number of TV sitcoms and dramas over the course of her career as well, in addition to her leading part as Jerry Peterson, Jerry, Jerry Peterson, in the WB comedy The Parenthood, where she starred opposite Robert Townsend. Now, Douglas also had guest roles on The Cosby Show, Touched by an Angel, with we just talked about Della Reese, okay, Touched by an Angel that Della Reese starred in, The Parkers, the Monique TV show, Monique and Countess Vaughn, The Parkers, and The Good Wife. Most recently, Suzzanne Douglas starred in Ava DuVernay's 2019 miniseries When They See Us, about the Central Park Five, now the Exonerated Five. Now, earlier 2021, Reagan Gomez Preston, who starred along Douglas in The Parenthood, who played her daughter Zaria, gave her TV mom her digital flowers. Today, she has retweeted those Mother Day posts in her memory. So far, no cause of death has been revealed. Has been revealed. And if we go to this tweet here, let's go to this one here. This is from Reagan Gomez Preston. This is what she tweeted May 9th. She said, this is a hashtag Suzzanne Douglas Stan account. Let's see. Strong black lead. Look at the material. Suzzanne needs her flowers. Also a natural hair legend. She tweeted also, because one of the things I remember about Suzzanne Douglas, high cheekbones, brown skin sister, very beautiful. And she wore locks. Okay. So that's something I remember on The Parenthood. She wore locks. It's something I remember about her. Here's a picture of Reagan Gomez Preston when she was younger with Suzzanne Douglas. Okay, so let me go back to the piece from Essence. Reagan went on to say, y'all need to get into TAP. She tweeted that also. Y'all need to get into TAP. Let's flip back over to that. That's the movie that Suzzanne was in with Gregory Hines. And I was watching a clip of that today online, and they show the two of them dancing, Gregory Hines and Suzzanne Douglas, in their tap dancing. Y'all need to get into hashtag tap. All of the tap legends, including a young Savion Glover. It was so good, and Suzzanne was incredible. Okay, I forgot she was in that movie Tap. I have to go back. I saw Tap when it came out. I have to go back and watch that movie. I didn't realize that Suzzanne Douglas was in the movie. There's a picture of her here dancing with Gregory Hines. Let me see. Can we will let us blow? Yeah, right there. It's a picture of her dance with Gregory Hines. All right. So let's continue here. Is there more? Okay. So far, according to Essence, no cause of death. If we look at the piece here from blackamericaweb.com, a reported cousin of the actress said the news on Facebook, writing she passed on July 6th. Okay. Now, Suzzanne Douglas was born in Chicago. Douglas would develop an interest in the arts and earn a bachelor's degree from Illinois State University. Later, she would earn a master's degree from the Manhattan School of Music. She would earn a master's degree. Suzzanne Douglas' filmography, and it's Douglas with one S, her filmography would grow after her breakout role in Tap. She famously played Gloria in 1994's Jason Lyric, Brenda in The Inkwell, Angela in How Stella Got Her Groove Back, and endeared herself to Black households as Jerry Peterson on the TV show on the WB, The Parenthood, opposite Robert Townsend. Recently, she starred as Cissy Houston in Lifetime's biopic of the late Whitney Houston called Whitney, and in the 4-part Netflix miniseries When They See Us. Okay, tributes and condolences began pouring in overnight for Douglas. Director Ava DuVernay, who worked with Douglas on When They See Us, called her an elegant force. Ava DuVernay tweeted, let's go over to this tweet here. Just a second. Let's go to the tweet from Ava DuVernay. She says Suzzanne Douglas was a quiet, elegant force as we made when they see us. A gentle woman, a gem of a lady, a confident, caring actor who breathed life into the words and made them shimmer. I'm grateful that our paths in this life crossed. May she journey on in peace and love. May she journey on in peace and love. Okay, so they have the tweet from one of the tweets from Reagan Gomez Preston as well. Okay, yeah, this tweet here is of their last taping of the Parenthood. That one right there, that's the last taping of the Parenthood. Okay, the TV show The Parenthood. Okay, no official cause of death has been given. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Douglas family and fans during this difficult time. Okay, so that's the piece from blackamericaweb.com. Parenthood actress Suzzanne Douglas passes away at 64. Okay, from blackamericaweb.com. All right, look, we have to get out of here. Hey, if you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network. $ the AHN Show through Cash App. $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Or through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. We're here 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes we go over like today. And then Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So this helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay some of the bills, etc. This is our official Cash App account, $ TheAHNShow, through Cash App. And then do PayPal. It's paypal.me/TheAHNShow. When you do it the Cash App, it'll say Michael. When you type in $ TheAHNShow, SHOW, it'll say Michael and show my picture there. We'll post the link here. And then be sure to register for the 10-week online course that I teach. If you like the type of history that we share here, then the 10-week online course that I teach is going to blow you away. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Maafa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Okay. And we deal with thousands of years of history and what led up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. We take you through tens of thousands of years of history and make history really make sense, understand cause and effect. Okay. We have the information at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We're going to post a link here as well. And when you scroll down our website, you'll see the information for the radio show. And scroll past that and just click on register here. Click on register here and it'll take you to the next page and click on enroll. And as soon as you enroll, you can start watching the content. Okay, so we do the class live. This is 10 sessions. Okay, 10 consecutive Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do the class live. All the sessions are recorded. All the sessions are recorded and archived, so you can go back and watch them over and over again. Okay. So as soon as you register, you can watch classes 1 through 9 of the Saturday class that's wrapping up, because that's archived for you also. You can watch classes 1 through 9 of the Saturday class. And then you can, you'll also be registered for the Sunday class that starts up Sunday, July 4th. The class number 1 was Sunday, July 4th. The next class is Sunday, July 11th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips, guest speakers, all that in the online course. And then as a bonus, when you register now, you'll get a digital download of my latest lecture. I did it June 16th, 2021. It's a 2.5 hour presentation I did dealing with the real history of Juneteenth, Okay. All right. We have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. And this is I spoke at the Juneteenth Festival in Atlanta. This is the official Juneteenth 2021 shirt. The Juneteenth, the 3-day Juneteenth parade and music festival down in Atlanta. It was at Olympic Centennial Park. So I did 2 presentations down there also. I was in Atlanta June 18th through the 20th. All right. Remember, right now, let's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.
Black on Purpose Television Network. Yes, Black on Purpose Television Network. All black, all positive, all the time. The largest black-owned streaming television network in the world, bringing our people together worldwide, controlling our messages, our stories, our way. Black TV the way it should be. Black music, Black history, and more. 30+ channels, thousands of shows. Black on Purpose Television Network. Subscribe now.
Hi, I'm Joel Wilson, President and CEO of JCW Computer Consulting, LLC, a technology implementation firm with over 20 years of satisfying customers. We offer a full spectrum of industry top-tier branded services. We are an authorized partner or reseller for Lenovo, Zoom, T-Mobile, Microsoft 365, and Surface tablets. Google Workspace, Acer, Asus, Samsung, PCmatic security software, and many more. Our online store features laptops, Chromebooks, computers, printers, accessories, and software. Businesses, take advantage of our free